Hey everybody, it's Jacob Belgum, aka Schwab Cards on Instagram. I'm a sports card collector, among other things, and I am back. The point of this video is to explain how you can leverage resources, many of which are free, to build your collection and gain a better understanding, a better knowledge base about how the hobby operates. So today I'm going to share with you a post from the Blowout Forum, a website I cannot recommend strongly enough. I became a member probably back in 2014, I think, and I was even a lurker before that, starting in about my senior year of high school. And I've used that forum just about every day, just as a fun way to learn about the hobby. And through that just general enjoyment, I have been able to really grow my knowledge base. And I'm going to share with you one post from a thread titled, "Is Card Ladder Dragging Down the Market?" The 147th post within the thread. User SoccerRCs posted the following. Wanted to say a few things after browsing the comments. First, to be clear, I do not believe Card Ladder is the sole reason or even the main reason that the card market is down right now. Obviously, way bigger macro issues, aggressive Fed, lower liquidity everywhere, etc., going on is the main reason the market is down. I would agree with him there. My only point on Card Ladder, or for that matter, any other sales data provider, is that the comps make it very hard for cards to rise when they are forever pinned to previous comps. This is even more true for cards in greater abundance because there are tons of sales. Obviously, Card Ladder or market movers or whoever didn't invent comps, but prior to them, all you really had, unless you were a hardcore collector, was eBay's sales history, which is what people used. There weren't any easily accessible aggregators. Cards were a much darker market. I'm not even saying transparency is bad, I'm just pointing out the realities of how this works. I mean, show me the guy that paid $500 for a relatively common card, where the card is now a boatload of comps at $200, that is suddenly getting $500 for his card this week at the National. Now, agreed, that's not happening. It's, just think about it. When you see the arrow trending down and down and down, and you see dozens of dots on that arrow, what sale is it going to take to make that go back up? Is it going to take a Super Bowl, an NBA title? Well, only one team wins every year. So maybe a 40-point game here or there might prop it back up, but then if he starts averaging 15 a game, or he only rushes for 50 yards a game the next few weeks, how is that going to sustain? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Which also brings me to another point. The vast majority of cards are inherently deflationary assets for the exact reason I described above. Comps start falling and then people sell lower and lower and lower. There is more than enough supply to meet the demand of non-rare high pop cards. I would also add that this is a greater problem in ultra modern because even the good cards with low pops haven't been sucked up in the collections of those truly collecting. And perhaps there are even fewer true collectors where no one actually wants the vast majority of these cards. They are just investing in them or using them as nothing more than a hustle. This is true. The number of posts I see on Instagram, which are, "Hey, huge mail day. Can't believe I got this awesome card. Available for this." More often than not, that's the post I see. It's not, "Hey, I got this card locked into the PC forever." Where I see that more often, the latter post, is when it's a more rare card from longer ago of a great player that has a large fan base, a large collector base. Just because that's more, it's going to be more common than, your Tony Kukoc super collector, who I know exists on Instagram, but there's not many guys saying, "Hey, I got this Kukoc, holding it forever." In the same way, take a Cam Johnson or a James Robinson in today's market. No one's ever really saying, "Hey guys, I'm holding this forever." And that's where you want to watch yourself. It continues. I would be remiss if I didn't say that I am truly bullish on cards, the right ones, for a long hold. But you really have to be willing to hold a long time, because if you buy that 15K card, even if the pop count is low, then all of a sudden you have some 7K comps, you aren't getting your money back for years. And if it does come back to 15K, there are a lot of people waiting for that moment to strike that they'll just dump it at that point. And that's true again, guys. At the end of the day, the more you spend on a card, the higher risk you have. It sounds simple, and it really is, but until you really think about it and say it out loud, in my own personal collection, I have many cards that are worth 4 figures. I have a couple that might be worth 5 figures on the right day. Did I pay anywhere near that for any of those cards? Mostly no. I've spent over $1,000. I can count definitely on two hands the number of cards I've ever spent 4 figures on. I don't know that I'll ever, maybe 10, 20 years from now, I might spend 5 figures on a card. But I want to have many of those types of cards in my collection, but I don't want to spend that to obtain them. So when you're logging into Golden and paying $20,000 for a card, just know your risk is a lot larger than if you bought a card for $1,000. And there's going to be more buyers for that $1,000 card than there will be that $20,000 card. I know a lot of people talk about consolidating, and I think that's a great idea, and that's something I want to delve more into in future videos. But the ladder needle is moving down on these cards with high pops. It's a lot easier to sell one of those than it is to sell, I don't know, a LeBron Topps Chrome Gold Refractor. Guys, that's basically the gist of the video for today. All I showcased was one post within a thread that has over 140 posts on Blowout that really provides a lot of insight as to how markets operate, specifically in the sports card hobby. And some of this might seem common sense to you. Some of you might say, oh yeah, I get this, what have you. I think for communication to be that clear, that evident, that thought out is pretty rare. And that's why I wanted to share it with you and add a little further context on top of that. And if you're wondering on my own opinions as to whether Card Ladder is dragging down the market, I think the post that I used as source material for this video is a pretty close indicator as to how I feel, and that's why I showcased it. I do think that more information for the most part is good. That's why I'm producing these videos. That's why I created this channel. But with that transparency can come deflated prices. And for most of these cards of guys who are not going to be Hall of Famers, whose cards are not rare, a decreasing trend line, I think, will mostly continue kind of in perpetuity, honestly, for a lot of these cards. There's no talking about bottom, the market coming back up. Bull, to use the simple Instagram favorite, no matter what he does, his silvers will never approach what they were worth 6 months, a year ago. I don't believe, and that's the way it is. You think about even Ken Griffey Jr., the iconic 1989 Upper Deck, that's just one base rookie of one all-time great player that's known for being overprinted and therefore probably undervalued. Just think about all the money being pumped into players who will never be that good, cards that will never be that iconic, and have similarly high print runs. Boom. I'll be back with more in the future, but for now, thanks guys.